What's up, people? Okay, what's up, people? My name's Margaret and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you my very first bullet journal. I'm going to flip through the entire thing with you guys. So it's going to be kind of a longer video, so I'm going to try and make this intro kind of quick. So yeah, I'm going to be flipping through all of my very first bullet journal with you, showing you what I did and talking about what worked for me and what didn't work for me. So I hope you enjoy, and without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So this is my very first bullet journal that I ever made. It's looking a little run down. It's been very clearly loved. The spine is being held together by duct tape. The corners are folding in. It's a soft cover journal, and it's not actually, it wasn't actually made to be a bullet journal. There's not actually dotted pages in here. I got it from Target. It's one of their green room recycled, like it's supposed to be made of all recycled paper. I think that's what it is. Yeah, 60 to 70% recycled. So this is it. I really wasn't sure about bullet journaling when I started, so I didn't want to commit to a notebook that was dedicated to bullet journaling. And I was introduced to bullet journaling through my cousin, who was using a dotted Moleskine notebook. And the Moleskine notebooks are actually pretty expensive, so, or at least they were for me at the time. So when I went to go buy my own journal for bullet journaling, I was looking at the Moleskine ones because I thought that's what you were supposed to use. I hadn't really looked into bullet journaling other than what my cousin told me. And yeah, when I looked at the Moleskine journals, they were pretty pricey for a small notebook. So I was like, you know, I'm not really sure if I want to commit to bullet journaling yet. So if I don't want to commit to it, I don't want to spend a lot on a journal. So I went home and I found a journal that I already owned at home, but that I hadn't started using yet. And it was lined. And I was like, you know what, let's just start journaling in this one, see how I like it. And then if this seems like something that I want to continue with, then I'll actually go and get a legit journal. So I really ended up loving this journal. This is like my baby. I took it everywhere. It has a lot of like nostalgia for me. Like, you know how you keep old journals just because of all the memories? That's kind of how this is for me. So anyways, so that's the story behind this not being a traditional bullet journal. But I love it and it worked for me. So actually the lines inside here, oh my God, look how like, this thing has been through it, let me tell you. The binding was also falling apart from the inside, so I had to duct tape it on the inside. My God, this is looking rough. Seen better days. But anyways, the lines in this journal actually are dotted lines, if you can see. So they're dotted lines. So I actually, once I got really into the journaling and I was trying to make everything even and spaced evenly, I guess, I started to count the number of dots that were in each line to like make sure that they met up with each other. I was a little bit of a perfectionist. I think I took it a little too far. I did use a ruler too. It was just, you know, it was a good thing for me to do while I was sitting in class, like listening. Sometimes it's easier for me to listen when I'm like doing something mindless with my hand. It doesn't sound mindless when I tell you that I'm literally counting all the little dots in here, but it was mindless for me, just like drawing like habit trackers or whatever. So anyways, I also have this thing with journals where I don't write in the first couple of pages because I think I'm gonna want to go back to them and like, I don't know, I just don't want to ruin, the journal. I don't know. Does anybody else do that or is it just me? I also did think that I was gonna go back in here and put like an index with page numbers and all that, but it never happened. So we've just got blank pages. And then this was the very first thing that I tried to do. I started this bullet journal at the beginning of a school year, so that's why I'm starting in August. And then it kind of carries over into 2018 as well. So I don't know why, but I didn't really think of the YouTube world as being a place to find things about bullet journals. Plus I was doing a lot of this while I was sitting in classes. So I would hop on my iPad and I would look on Pinterest at designs for like monthly templates, yearly templates, or layouts or whatever. And then I would kind of just go based off of designs that I found on Pinterest. But I just recently got into the bullet journal world on YouTube, and holy crap, some people have some really intense but amazing spreads. And this is just really lame, but I have to say I was really proud of how pretty I thought the lettering looked. So yeah, and clearly I didn't really go with the like writing out the events for each month, because with my perfectionism, I don't want to put things that I like. If it's the 1st of August and there are some things in here that I don't know about yet, but there's something at the 30th that I know, I don't want to put down what's on the 30th before I write down what's going to be on like the 16th or something, because 30 comes after 16, so I couldn't write them out of order. So this kind of ended up being just like a moot layout, I guess. I didn't really do anything with this or look back at it. So this was, I don't know if it's just doesn't work for me or if it was just because it was my first time bullet journaling or what, but maybe I'll try this again in the future. This was my first attempt. Oh my god, I have to sneeze. Whew. This was my first attempt to do a monthly page. I opted for doing just the days listed out instead of a calendar view. I don't know if I like this or if I don't. I kind of think I don't, though. I don't know. It kind of makes sense to me, but it kind of doesn't. I wanted to see, like, in a list what my days were going to look like, or like different events for different days. I kind of merged this with a calendar layout later in the journal, so you'll see. So this is my first weekly spread that I ever did. I wanted to try doing like, this is like your view for the week ahead, and then each day individually and like the task for those days. I think I found this design on Pinterest too. I did not really like this. This didn't really do much for me, but I also realized that I didn't really like just putting tasks in the day and not knowing what my schedule was for the day. So you can see here on one side I tried to write out like what my class schedule was and what I had later in the day. So that was that. I continued that for pretty much all of August, which was 2 weeks because I was in school. And then here is September. I was actually really proud of this like intro to the month page, which I know it looks like bare bones, but I am such a bad drawer. I cannot draw to save my life. And so when I drew these leaves, I was like, wow, these look really good. Like, these are really well drawn leaves. And yeah, I was really proud of myself. I didn't want to mess it up by drawing more, so I just left it at the 2. And they kind of were like outlining September, which I love the lettering of how I did this too. So that's that. This is the first month that I tried the calendar layout. I actually did like this. I think I stuck with this for a couple more months. And then I was also trying to incorporate like the events list kind of thing. I don't think I stuck with this like collaboration of those two though either, so. And then I tried a new layout for September. So again, with the leaves, I was so proud of this. I don't know why. I'm a bad drawer. So when something comes out looking semi-decent, I'm like, oh my god, I am like super talented. Look at what a good drawer I am. Like, whatever. Okay, so I tried to give myself like a mini calendar view and then highlighting what week of the month it was. I actually did kind of like this just so I could know relative to the rest of the month where we were, how many weeks were left, that kind of a thing. So yeah, here I just laid out the days differently. I tried to do like a little tracker too. I didn't really like this, but I think I'll still try it in the future, so I don't know. And then I also tried doing like a looking forward kind of thing, like what's happening next week, what do I need to prepare for next week. I kept with this. Oh, and then for this leaf, because I was like, how am I gonna continue this perfection? I mean, that is a good leaf. How am I ever going to live up to doing a leaf that good again? So these, obviously this isn't like a legit bullet journal, so the pages aren't very thick, so you can see through them kind of. So I just laid this down so I could see through the page, and I traced over the leaf that I did on the last page. So that's why this leaf also looks amazing, as you can clearly see. So yeah, I don't know what happened here. I think we were taking notes in class and I was trying to organize some stuff for work, and then I also needed to just like, brain dump a bunch of tasks that I needed to do. So I guess that's what happened here. Did I continue after, what is this, the 17th? Oh, okay, and the 18th. But I stopped doing this layout. I don't know why. Maybe the tracker wasn't working for me, or I just wanted to try something different. That was the thing, is that I would get tired of one thing really quickly, and so I would want to change it up. So then I went to this. The leaf was too much pressure for me. I couldn't keep up with making it pretty. And so because there was so much pressure to make it pretty, I would like put it off and not want to do it at all. So I was like, you know what, screw the leaf. If I worry about the perfection of the leaf, I'm just never gonna get this journal done. So screw it with the leaf. I guess I stopped doing a monthly like calendar view, like what week we're on. Well, this is when I started doing to do and schedule. I split them up. And then at the bottom, I would put this week's priority, which I clearly didn't use. I had like just little notes to write for myself here, and then my gratitude would go there. Oh, I remember this space that I left myself here was supposed to be for an inspirational quote. So there's that. Priority, notes. I had a lot more gratitude this week. Kind of kept with the same layout. And then October, I was also super proud of this. Just the way it turned out. Again, I loved my lettering. I'm not good at drawing, people, okay? So when I drew this cat, I was like, man, I'm really an artist. I'm the best, but truthfully, I'm not at all, but I was really proud of the cat. I actually drew this out and just had it in pencil before I added the color, and once I added the color, I immediately regretted it and wished that I had just left it as pencil. So I don't know if I'll ever be happy with anything I do. I really liked this, actually. I loved like the little artsy touches I did here, because I don't consider myself an artsy person. So when I started letting my creativity go with this, it actually made me really happy. So I kept with the calendar view that I had from September. I added the list thing. I think I liked this, but still not 100% happy with it. Kept the same weekly layout. So this one must have been working for me if I kept up with it for this long. It was simple enough that it didn't take forever for me to get done, but it was effective too. I obviously started getting lazy here. I don't think I was using the week's priority thing. Yeah, I don't really think the week's priority thing was working for me, which is why I kind of gave up on it. No gratitude that week, that's sad. And then October budget. Still not really sure how to work out these pages, to be honest. And I didn't know if I should put it at the beginning of the month or if I should keep it at the end of the month, but it actually did help, just so I knew how much I was spending and that kind of a thing. And then November. Again, clearly not an artsy person. I'm just overwhelmed with the, oh my god, what should I add here? And I get so overwhelmed, and then if I do anything, it has to be perfect, and because I know it's not going to be perfect, I just end up never doing it. So we've just got nice lettering, people, okay? Okay. So I tried a new layout for my calendar. I made it a little bit smaller. I do remember I didn't like how big the calendar was on my previous ones. I wanted a little bit more space to write extra stuff. However, I didn't know what extra stuff to write. So I tried doing like a goals thing. I tried making what payments to plan for this month. Like, this is what you have to budget for, I guess. I don't really know. And then I still kept the list thing because I did like both. Overall, I actually did really like this. I thought it was super cute. And I like the pink. Again, keeping with the same weekly. Clearly I didn't use it very much this week. And then I decided to put my budget and my tracker. This was the first time I tried a tracker, but I decided to put them at the beginning of the month this time. So here I put like a little box for my monthly expenses. I put the starting balance for the month, how much I spent, how much I made, and then the ending balance. And then I made like little categories here, what I spent, how much I spent on each category. Then my habit tracker. Here, I'll turn it this way, I guess. So my habit tracker for November. We are overachievers here. 3 habits, really reaching for the stars here. I remember working on this though. This is when I was like counting how many dots in the lines like there were and how to make it even. Oh my god. I spent so much time on this, but I was really proud of it, and it actually did help me. Like, the motivation to cross off that I had done something that day was a good motivator for like getting a workout in, or at least getting 10,000 steps or whatever. So I did like that. Oh man. Okay, so this time intensive, too much work. I wouldn't do this again, I don't think. I was looking up stuff on Pinterest and I found this and I was like, well, I'm bored of the other stuff that I'm doing. I'm not writing it as much, so maybe I'm just not inspired and I need to switch it up. So this is what I found. So this is like the weekly on one side, and then you have your weekly, like, it's like a view in time slots. It doesn't really, like, this doesn't work for me. It doesn't help my brain in any way to like see my days blocked out like that. And then I made myself a little quote here. I did like where in the week we are. I went back to that. Little notes for myself. It's wearing glasses. It's so cute. Okay, I guess I did it again this week. So pretty much the same thing. There's no way I could have kept this up for long. Yeah, see, I switched up. So I was like, this is just too much. I'm spending more time making the journal than actually using it. This, I love this layout. Oh my god, this was my, oh, I just loved it while I was using it. Instead of having it in a list, one under the other, I had them next to each other. I loved this. Oh my god. I had the, like the weekly layout just to see where you are in November. Oh my god, 27th. 12? Oh, I didn't do anything from the 12th to the 20th. That's how time consuming this was. Okay, so I had a little notes thing here. I loved having like today, this is my schedule for the day, and then the to-do list. And then, oh god, I just love this layout so much, guys. I have my schedule, I have my to-do list, and then after every day, I put a little heart with my gratitude and then how many steps I got that day. Holy crap, this helped so much with getting at least 10,000 steps. It was so fun to see myself consistently getting a lot of steps in. This was so fun. I think I tried a next week thing. Again, I don't really like these that much. Oh, I gave up. Oh, I guess I left this space blank so I could put like a December thing. But again, I get overwhelmed by the need to be perfect that I just ended up not doing it at all. So there's that. That's who I am. This is my December calendar. I tried to kind of keep it similar to the way I did my November one. I really liked the tiny squares, like the cute, tiny, simple, minimal look. I put a post-it in instead of like writing, like making a box and whatever. And I had my goals here. Did I do any of these goals? I probably just worked out. That's it. Okay, so I kept up with that weekly spread, weekly layout. I moved my monthly view of where we are in the month to this side from here. I put like a shopping list for a recipe I wanted to try out here. same thing. I loved keeping up with like the gratitude each day and the steps. That was just such a fulfilling thing for me. I think I was experimenting a little here with different colors for different events. So yeah, kept up with that. I must have gotten a little lazy here. Just didn't write the day or the month that it was. Oh, here's my December budget and my habit tracker. So let's see. Instead of spend money, I put read 15 minutes on here, but I only read 6 days out of the 31, so not doing great. But I did work out and I got my 10,000 steps in too. I kind of had this thing for myself where if I didn't work out that day, I would at least try to get 10,000 steps. And if I didn't get 10,000 steps, I would at least try to work out. So they would kind of like balance each other out as I went through the month. Okay, and then we're at 2018. So how far am I through my notebook? Probably a little less than halfway. I didn't do any like crazy like pictures or anything here because again, I am suffocated by the need to be perfect. So when I know I can't do it perfectly, I don't do it at all. It's a problem. I'm working on it, I promise. I wanted to try doing an affirmations page where I wrote an affirmation every morning. I got 5 days in. It got a little much for me and I didn't know how to like keep track of what day I was on, I guess, so I just didn't really keep up with it. I do, honestly, I'm not like a big like doodles everywhere kind of person. I do think they look really cool in other people's bullet journals. I do like the simplistic minimal look of it, so I didn't mind not having all these cute little things. So I tried another new thing this month. This whole journal is pretty much me trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So January, this was one where you have to flip it on its side, but basically I made the whole horizontal page my calendar, and then I had notes, tasks, goals. Yeah, it didn't really work out that well. I have my habit tracker, my January budget. I did an ab challenge this month, so this was a good way to keep track of it. I clearly didn't do it every day. What's going on this week? I didn't do anything. But yeah, it's pretty much the same thing for both. And again, I just really loved this layout, so I stuck with it. Got lazy. Was that week where I did nothing in my habit tracker? 7th to the 12th. Yep. Yeah. I don't know what I was doing that week. So at the end of this month, I put a quotes and notes page. I might have seen this on Pinterest. I tried doing a layout for the first half of the year, so first 6 months. It was kind of nice. A lot of friends would be like, oh, Margaret, like when's the test in April, when it was like February, and I would be able to just hand them over my journal and they could see the layout. I think it was more useful for other people than it was for me, to be honest. And then February, let's see what I did here. Same like horizontal layout. I would always get like I said, it was like a mindless thing for me to draw these things out. So sometimes I would forget that the month ended on a Wednesday and I would just keep drawing all the way to the end. So I think January had that too. I thought this was really cute. I loved the way that I wrote February. I loved the lettering. I loved this. I was still trying to keep up with like the goals, birthdays this month. I don't know, this didn't really work for me. It was pretty, I really liked this, but I made nothing happen. Trying a new thing with my habit tracker. This thing, it was way too much work to make, and it just wasn't, I don't know, I don't think it was helping me as much as it was in the beginning when I first started using it. So I tried switching to a different layout. I don't really know what happened here. I didn't like it, so that's what it is. School must have been just really busy, so I got very minimal with it, and I would just, on the day of, on February 2nd, I would just write, what do I need to do today? And I'd list it all out, and as, like, I would just do it the day of. So February 3rd, I made that list. I made February 4th, I didn't need a list, so I didn't write one. So that's what I was doing for that. Notes, again, just a place to write, just kind of like brain dump stuff. I don't know what happened here. I'm getting lazy. And then I decided to try a new weekly layout because the other one was a lot of work and I clearly just didn't have the time for it anymore. So I figured this maybe might help me cut down on time. So super simple, just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Notes in this column, a to-do for the week here, events for the week, and then I've got my little monthly, like here, this is what we put on. Oh my god, I only kept up with it for 1 week. It's so sad. March. I tried something new for March. I did kind of like having a notes area here. This was also like a notes thing. And then I tried to like make myself a daily schedule to stick to. Like I just wanted to see like just how many hours in the day I did have to spend on other things. This was the first time I did my calendar view just on one page. I actually liked it. I don't mind this. Okay. I kept with that layout. Here were just little notes, like what chapters to read for school, what needs to get done this week. Oh, and then I just decided to start journaling on this page. We were spring break with my family and I just felt like I really needed to get stuff out. I wanted to start journaling. It lasted 2 pages. Same layout. I don't really know what happened here. It was probably the end of March and I was like, oh my god, I need to write a budget. Here, I was still trying to block out my days. Okay, you coming back? Excuse me. I'm keeping with this. Added like a little quote here. Same thing for April. I just did like a 1-page calendar layout or like full month layout. Put little notes here. This was just a page where I was jotting down, like I was writing out thank you cards, so I put the drafts here. I had some quotes from a book here. Oh god, my habit tracker's a lot bigger this time. Oh my god, this is so sad. Look how little I filled it out. I was just not feeling it. 10,000 steps workout ab challenge. I did the ab challenge twice that month. Read 15 minutes, I did once. Meditate and study. I studied twice, people. In all honesty, I probably just forgot to fill it out throughout most of the month. And then I hated how my habit tracker pages looked so empty because it was so like skinny and it would only take up half the page. So I tried adding my budget on the same page. I don't even know what's going on this page. I kept with this layout, started adding little quotes at the bottom here. Made myself a little to-buy list, to do, what's coming up this week. Keeping with the same thing. And random notes. Keeping with the same thing. I must have liked this. May, same view of the calendar. I clearly stopped doing like the title page to the month. I just felt like I didn't need it. It took up too much time. I didn't like the pressure of having to come up with like cute little doodles and stuff to put with it, so I just didn't. Here I wrote some quotes I really liked. Shopping list. The randomness of my brain reflected. I kept with this. I wasn't using it as much. This was like the end of school, so stuff was just too stressful to even keep up with this. And then I think I tried doing a budget, and we're in September. Skipped June, July, and August. All honesty, I was in clinicals, so I was working full-time and I was in a class at the same time. Like a class and a half, kind of, because the clinical had a class component to it, and then I was in just like a complete separate class. So it was like clinical, full-time clinical, which included commuting to Chicago and back. I tried putting a habit tracker here, I don't know why I was so stuck on my habit trackers being like this. Pinterest doesn't really have a lot of resources when it comes to bullet journals. Like, a lot of the same stuff pops up, so I didn't really see anything else for habit trackers, so that's kind of just what I stuck with. Notes for physical therapy. I literally didn't even write anything down in this month. I was trying to keep track of my workouts. We're at October. I didn't even do any weeklies in September. I don't think I did it for October either. Again, I was in clinical again. This was probably the busiest semester of my life. I just didn't have time to even make my own journal. I think I went, actually, yeah, during the summer in June, I went and I bought an actual planner because I just couldn't keep up with doing this on my own. So I think at that point I was using my regular planner instead of this. I still wanted to do bullet journaling, but it just wasn't working. I was too busy. We're getting to the end here. More just like journaling. This was me trying to keep track of my workouts. So I made little calendar views. I actually really liked that. Here, movies to watch. I made a list. Some people's bullet journals are so cool when it comes to like making these kinds of lists, and that is my goal, to get back to it. I was just so busy this semester. Just like mileage for work. And I think that is how it ends. My friends, that is the end of my bullet journal. My very first bullet journal, which isn't even a real bullet journal. It's just so cool to see how you change throughout the year. It's like how your mind works. Like, oh, you remember thinking that you were getting tired of like a certain layout, so you tried something different, and like, God, I remember loving this so much. I loved this layout. But now looking back on it, I don't know, like, I just feel like I've grown past it, grown out of it, and that is the beauty of bullet journaling. So yeah, I want to start back up this year. I've been really inspired again, and I want to get into that whole bullet journaling community now that I've found it on YouTube. I just think it is so cool what some people out there are doing, and I just want to get inspired by other people. So this was my very first one. If you like anything in here, let me know what you liked and maybe what you'll try. This was a cool thing for me to look back on and go through. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe so you can see when my next video comes out. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll see you in my next video.